Yeah, yeah! Leo apparently understood. He turned the Archimedes spear. Jason, get away from the thing's head! I have an idea! Jason was still hacking away at the turtle's face, but when he heard Leo say, I have an idea, he made the only smart choice. He flew away as fast as possible. Coach, come on, Jason said. No, I got this, Hedge said, but Jason grabbed him around the waist and took off. Unfortunately, the coach struggled so much that Jason's sword fell out of his hand and splashed into the sea. Coach, Jason complained. What? Hedge said. I was softening him up. The turtle had butted the hull, almost tossing the whole crew off the port side. Hazel heard a cracking sound, like the keel had splintered. Just another minute, Leo said, his hands flying over the console. We might not be here in another minute. Frank fired his last arrow. Piper yelled at the turtle, Go away! For a moment, it actually worked. The turtle turned from the ship and dipped its head underwater. But then it came right back and rammed him even harder. Jason and Coach Hedge landed on the deck. You all right? Piper asked. Fine, Jason muttered. Without a weapon, but fine. Fire in the shell! Leo cried, spinning his Wii controller. Hazel thought the stern had exploded. Jets of fire blasted out behind them, washing over the turtle's head. The ship shot forward and threw Hazel to the deck again. She hauled herself up and saw the ship was bouncing over the waves at incredible speed, trailing fire like a rocket. The turtle was already 100 yards behind them, its head charred and smoking. The monster bellowed in frustration and started after them, its paddle feet scooping water with each such power that it actually started to gain on them. The entrance to the straits was still a quarter-mile ahead. A distraction, Leo muttered. We'll never make it unless we get a distraction. A distraction, Hazel repeated. She concentrated and thought, Riordan. She had no idea whether it would work, but instantly Hazel spotted something on the horizon. A flash of light and steam. It streaked across the surface of the Adriatic. In a heartbeat, Riordan stood on the quarterdeck. Gods of Olympus, Hazel thought, I love this horse. Riordan snorted as if to say, Of course you do. You're not stupid. Hazel climbed on his back. Piper, I could use that charm speak of yours. Once upon a time, I liked turtles, Piper muttered, accepting her hand up. Not anymore. Hazel spurred Riordan. He leapt over the side of the boat, hid in the water at full gallop. The turtle was a fast swimmer, but it couldn't match Riordan's speed. Hazel and Piper zipped around the monster's head, Hazel slicing with her sword, Piper shouting random commands like, Dive! Turn left! Look behind you! The sword did no damage. Each command only worked for a moment, but they were making the turtle very annoyed. Riordan whinnied decisively as the turtle snapped at him, only to a mouthful of horse vapor. Soon, the monster had completely forgotten the Argo too. Hazel kept stabbing at its head. Piper kept yelling commands and using her cornucopia to bounce coconuts and roasted chickens off the turtle's eyeballs. As soon as the Argo 2 had passed into the straits, Riordan broke off his harassment. They sped after the ship, and a moment later they were back on the deck. The rocket fire had extinguished, though smoke and bronze exhaust vents still jutted from the stern. The Argo 2 limped forward under sail power, but their plan had paid off. They were safely harbored in the narrow waters, with long rocky islands to starboard and sheer white cliffs to the mainland to port. The turtle stopped at the entrance of the straits and glared at them balefully, but it made no attempt to follow. Its shell was obviously too wide. Hazel dismounted and got a big hug from Frank. Nice work out there. Her face flushed. Thanks. Piper slid down next to her. Leo, since when do we have jet propulsion? You know. Leo tried to look modest and failed. Just a little something I whipped up in my spare time. Wish I could give you more than a few seconds of burn, but at least it got us out of there. It roasted the turtle's head, Jason said appreciatively. So what now? Kill it, Coach said. You even have to ask? We got enough distance. We got a ballista. Lock and load, demigods! Jason frowned. Coach, first off, you made me lose my sword. Hey, I didn't ask for an evac. Second, I don't think a ballista will do any good. That shell's like a Nemean lion skin. Its head isn't any softer. So we chuck one right down its throat, Coach said. Like you guys did with that shrimp monster thing in the Atlantic. Light it up from the inside. Frank scratched his head. My luck. Why then you got a 5 million kilo turtle carcass blocking the entrance to the straits. If we can't fly with the oars broken, how do we get the ship out? You wait and fix the oars, Coach said. Or just sail the other direction, you big galoot. Frank looked confused. What's a galoot? Guys, Nico said from the mast.